Hey everyone, Kyle once again. We'll go back to the next episode. Sorry. I've been used to doing that so much, been used to saying that though. But to the next movie review. It's been quite a bit though, because it's doing other things. But the next movie review I'm reviewing is another classic comedy. And another of one of Jim Carrey's best films. Because a little while ago, I reviewed The Mask, which, like I said, 1994 was the year that skyrocketed his career with The Mask, Ace Ventura, and the one I'm be reviewing is of Dumb and Dumber. The three films that skyrocketed Jim Carrey's career with these comedies. They were all big hits during the year 1994, and he just got more. And after that, he did more comedies after that. Like, well, he did Batman Forever '95. Then later on with the Truman Show, which I enjoy. Liar Liar, the cable guy, which I enjoy. Me, Myself, Irene. What was else? I'm trying to think what before he did before the 2000s. But those films were hits. I mean, well, the Cable Guy did kind of underperform in some ways though, but I still enjoy the Cable Guy though. So, but Dumb and Dumber, what can I say about Dumb and Dumber that has not been said about over the years? I mean, it is no doubt a classic comedy film. Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels as Harry and Lloyd, they worked great together. They were really great together. I mean, considering the fact, with especially also Jeff Daniels, doing a very type of comedy role. I mean, the same year, 1994, he did in the summer he did Speed with Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper. He was a cop there, and then from before, I enjoyed him in I Love Arachnophobia. So at the time, it was kind of a different role for Jeff Daniels, and he knocked it out of the park. So they both did together in this movie. They worked fantastic together. And it's directed by the Farrelly brothers, which I would say I still say it is their best film they've done. The Kingpin I did not mind. Then they did There's Something About Mary, which honestly I think it's a tad bit overrated. I just couldn't get into it. There's Something About Mary. But then the years later, they've really fallen off a ladder. I mean, Dumb and Dumber 2, which I hate. I hate Dumb and Dumber 2. To me, I think it was much. They tried to take the success of the first film, give it with even more raunchy, gross jokes, because they're trying to extend that more even further, which I'm sorry, that was the wrong choice. And I would say they even made the characters, Harry and Lloyd, mean-spirited in a way. What I mean, I'll get to why I'll get to that meaning why, but still, and they just try to rehash some of the jokes from the first movie. And to me, that was wrong. I hate Dumb and Dumber 2. Even rewatching this movie again, it makes me hate the sequel even more. And then even more with the Farrelly brothers, where they just directed that abysmal Three Stooges movie, which to me, that's even more of an insult to me, because I've been a lifelong fan of the Three Stooges all my life. Growing up, back when I was when I was a little kid with my dad and my grandpa, that's even more offensive to me. With that movie, to me that was one of the biggest insults for a film that has ever thrown at me. Fuck the Three Stooges movie and fuck Dumb and Dumber 2. So as me, the Farrelly brothers over the years, they just really have gone downhill. So, but regardless of that though, oh yeah, but I think it was just Peter Farrelly who directed that movie Green Book, that drama that got all the one of those Academy Awards, right? Oh wow, they tried to just do that. Whatever. But for comedies, yeah. regardless, I still enjoy Dumb and Dumber a lot, and I even like the while I hate the sequel, but I even like the prequel from 2003. I think it was when Harry met Lloyd. I even like that prequel, you know. But regarding about that, that'll be another time though. But like I said, what have I said hasn't been said about Dumb and Dumber? The film work was the chemistry between Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. They still worked fantastic together. And, you know, what I mean by mean-spirited in the sequel, because in this film, like, they're dumb, so they can be smart and sometimes, but they're dumb, but they're stupid at the same time. Like, given the fact that, like, about knowing about the country of Austria, right, and or with Australia, right? I mean, they know the countries, but they just gotta get them mixed up, you know. But it's like in the sequel, they just don't know what a country is. But the mean-spirited part I'm talking about is like they're good. They're dumb, stupid, but they mean well. I mean, like, okay, take for example, because I'm jumping all over the place though, because like I said, I'm sure people by now have seen Dumb and Dumber, right? But if you haven't, okay, I'll advise you to check out Dumb and Dumber. If you haven't seen Dumb and Dumber, go check it out. I highly recommend it. So if you haven't seen it, then just turn off the review before I get into spoilers if anyone has not seen it. Sorry now. Okay, there's a guy by the name of Mike Starr. He plays this guy who's a henchman who was eventually going to like take out these two guys, right? You know, of course, we get the famous scene where he's sitting in the van with them, right? And he's being annoyed to piss by the both two of them, right? Of course, like, you're it, no takebacks. Or, hey, of course, Jim Carrey, of course, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? That still makes me laugh. But then, I'm getting to the point where, in the diner, when they're in the diner getting burgers, like, the guy, Mike Starr, dares the two of them to have eat some of these peppers, right? Hence when they use the mustard and the ketchup to cool off, right? But then with Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, they pull a prank on him by putting hot peppers in his burger, right? And the guy kind of like has like a, because he has like this his stomach whatever, he falls down and at first for like 10 seconds they're laughing at him, okay? They're laughing at him for like 10 seconds, but then it was like, hey, you alright? It was just a joke, you know? It was just a goof. And so he's telling them that he needs his pills, his medicine, you know? But they give it to him, but they accidentally give him the rat poison that he was going to give them, right? But they did not know that, though. And then he dies from those. But the point is, what I'm saying is, they laugh for 10 seconds, but then they feel bad. It's like, hey, it was just a joke, right? And like Jim Carrey, he's trying to give him like CPR and stuff like that, while Jeff Daniels is trying to find his pills. You know, but then in the sequel, like, say, the hotel scene, where they make the hotel room explode with Rob Riggle inside of it. You know, comedic actor Rob Riggle, right? He's been in other comedy films as well. They make the hotel room explode with him in it. He flies out on fire into the pool, and both of them are just going, ha 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 ha, and they just continue laughing with like no remorse, no nothing like that. They think that is still funny, you know. But that's what I mean. That's just being more mean-spirited. Like those two were not like that, more like that in the first movie. Like I said, with Mike Starr, yeah, they laughed for like 10 seconds, but they kind of felt bad. It's like, hey, it was just a joke, you know. So that's what I mean. I mean, just like in the course, the humor has to be more gross and raunchy. You know, they're trying to anti out from the first movie, which I'm sorry that does not work. Yeah, there's a couple of scenes like, okay, like there's this like where they're driving and they have to piss in a bottle, right? A beer bottle. And they get pulled up by this highway patrolman, played by Harlan Williams, which he's been in some other films and TV shows too, right? So they asked him to give me that, and he wants to drink it, right? But he's drinking a bottle of piss, and he tells him to get out of here, and he's puking, right? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see that's kind of a gross scene, but the thing is, though, it was not. It was a part of me thought it was funny because it doesn't become much as gross as what the humor was in the second film, or more. I thought it was more funny than. Okay, the one thing I will give you, the one humor scene I'll give you, which people do like though, and I still think this is not funny to me. To me, this was never funny for me. The one scene in the film I do not think that was funny. It was when Jeff Daniels has the frickin' runs and he's shitting in the toilet for going seems like 5 minutes total. That is the one. That is the one scene in the film I did not like, and I did not think it was funny. Because before that, Jim Carrey puts what was it, laxatives or something in his drink, and then when Jeff Daniels was going to Lauren Hall Lauren Holly, yeah, that's her name, as Mary Swanson. That the whole thing, the reason why they're driving all the way to get this briefcase to, right? He's driving and he gets to her house and his stomach is fucked up. So he goes in the toilet to shit. He shits 5 minutes, hearing all this. Oh! And then Lauren Holly, as Mary Swanson, tells him, don't use that toilet, it's broken. So, that is the one scene I will still say that is not funny to me. To me, it's not. Because it goes on for 5 minutes. And I think even for the extended cut, I'm not even personally not a fan of the extended cut because they try to extend these scenes more, which I think is not funny. Like with that, right? And there's some other scenes in the extended cut that I do not care for, in the scene where they're in another diner and Jim Carrey tells Jeff Daniels, you spill a salt shaker. It's bad luck. Toss him over your shoulder for good luck, right? And of course, it's the character Seabass, right? And he spits in Jeff Daniels' burger. Be a tad bit more of that. I don't think you did not need that as well. Or where there's a scene where they're sitting in this love hot tub, right? And for the extended cut, there was I forget, it was either one of them saying, if you were a girl, I'd like to bend you over this, and I didn't think needed more of that. See, that's stuff that should have been cut out. See, it's more like stuff like that you would see more in the sequel, that more type of humor like that, right? But on DVD you can only get the extended cuts, so. And in the theatrical cut, the only way to see that in the theatrical cut is on VHS, which I had a long time ago though, but I think it's gone now. But so I have no choice to watch the extended cut. If it is, I'll just fast forward through those parts, including the whole diarrhea scene. So sorry I'm going all over the place, but just okay, I don't have to explain it for every single gag. Okay, the point is, getting to the plot, I mean, I'm jumping all over the place. Yes, I enjoy the film a lot, though, except for that one scene and those pointless extended cuts that should have been cut out. But still, though, I still enjoy Dumb and Dumber a bit. It's in my top three favorite. It's my top three favorite Jim Carrey movies. It is. In fact, my top three favorite Jim Carrey films are the three films he did in 1994: The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura. So. But the whole point is, like I said, Lloyd, Jim Carrey, he's a limo driver. He's taking this woman, Mary Swanson, played by Lauren Holly, which after this, later on, she'd do that movie Turbulence with the late Ray Liotta, rest in peace to him, where they're on that airplane. Ray Liotta's the bad guy, right? And I wasn't personally not a fan of it, though, but Ray Liotta, he's really chewing the scenery as being over the top as the bad guy, right? I mean... So it wasn't her fault, though, but it just wasn't overall wasn't big on Turbulence. But she goes to the airport when Jim Carrey crashes and his airbag deploys in his face. And he sees her put a suitcase down. He gets to say, "Hey, Mary!" He runs in, grabs the suitcase away from the two bad guys. One of them, like I said, is Mike Starr and this other woman. And then... He tries to. This guy tells her, "Hey, where the plane was like, it's okay, I'm a limo driver, and he runs right out of that because the plane is not there no more, so he runs right out into the cement below. And then Jeff Daniels, his van is a big dog van. He's a dog driver for these other dogs, and they get messy because it's full of food. They're both fired. So they have the suitcase, and they have the choice, but it's to drive to Aspen, Colorado. And of course, when Jeff Daniels tells Jim Carrey, he's like, "Well, you shouldn't go to Aspen. The French are assholes." Or the poor word that works at Mark, where the hench guy, Mike Starr, kills their bird, and Jeff Daniels goes, "Our bird's dead. His head fell off," and just like Jim Carrey's like, "Oh, I thought he was old." So they have the choice that they drive to Aspen, Colorado. They make the long journey, which most of I said are before the start of this video, so I'm not gonna repeat it though. But what was it? I said that part. Yeah, I said that part. But okay, leading to point A to point B. Where before that, as Jim Carrey's driving, he has this dream, right? This dream where he's with Lauren Holly, and you get the thing where he farts in front of everybody. Yeah, that's another humor I did not care for. He's telling jokes to people, or they're laughing about it. They were laughing when he lights his fart on fire. That's another one I did not care for, though. But then, of course, at this restaurant where he's fighting these guys, including the chef, where he rips his heart out, puts it in a doggy bag. And then eventually, one lead to another, they finally get to Aspen. Before that, where Jim Carrey's in the bathroom, Jeff Daniels is filling up his car, talking to this woman, and he's like, "Skis? Yeah. Both of them? Yeah." And she's trying to get the girl's number, but he actually poured gasoline on his foot, and she asked for a light, and puts the match up, but he lights his foot on fire. So, and of course that guy Seabass came back to do what he was going to do with Jim Carrey because there was some writing on the wall, be at a certain time, But then Jeff Daniels comes in and knocks the guy out. And then eventually they get to Aspen. And they're walking. They see this couple walk by, and then Jeff Daniels is like, "Look at the buns on those." And Jim Carrey's like, "Yeah, he must work out." He was referring to the guy, but Jeff Daniels was referring to the woman, obviously. Or of course when they find out what's in the briefcase, because they're having a little fight because Jim Carrey has 2 pairs of gloves while Jeff Daniels' hands are freezing. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he's like, "I'm gonna toss this damn curse right into this damn pond." And then Jeff Daniels has it on Jim Carrey, so he's like, "Yeah, hey, you're freezing, your hands are freezing." Of course, that's the scene where my brother makes that scream a lot, because from that one scene, he's like, "Yeah." Yeah, that's the scene that my brother used that scream a lot, when he's joking. But then he realized that the suitcase is full of money, so they're gonna spend some of the money, but they're gonna pay it back in IOUs. So they go to this fancy hotel, they buy this expensive room, fancy car, and some other stuff, and they realize they're gonna be at Mary Swanson's gonna be at this charity ball. So this is where you get the scene where they're trying to do makeovers and get proper tuxedos, and where you have the song "Pretty Woman" by Roy Orbison. Pretty woman, walking down the street, pretty woman, I kinda like to meet pretty woman. Oh, pretty woman. That's a classic song. It worked, and that's a song that worked in this movie, in that scene, in that montage. they're trying to get panicures, tuxedos. That song worked in that movie. It did. It fitted well. Of course, Pretty Woman, of course, the movie with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, of course. Gotta mention that name because it's that's the song from. So they go to the charity ball, and Jeff Daniels, supposedly he sets up a date with Jim Carrey, but actually he sets up the date himself with her. And then Jim Carrey opens a bottle of champagne, uncorks, the corks skyrockets, and kills one of the endangered snow owls. Oh boy. I'm like, this is the stuff, the humor that makes them they're not mean-spirited at all in this movie. Yeah, like I said before with Mike Starr, it was a joke though. But but especially Jim Carrey, he's kind of an asshole in the next movie. He's kind of deprives everything from when they were in this movie into that from that movie, Fuck Dumb and Dumber 2. Fuck that. I hate that sequel. See, that's another movie that's like 20 years or so later they do. This doesn't work. Once in a while it does work, like with Bad Boys for Life, the third Bad Boys movie, right? To me, that worked because Jim Carrey, Will Smith, and Martin Lawrence still had that same chemistry as partners, right? They did. Which, speaking of, I'm not sure how the fourth one's going to hold up, though, but still. But I'm just talking about, like, a sequel that comes out years and years later. Once in a while, it will work, like with that movie, okay? Just pointing up, but Dumb and Dumber 2, no. So, Jeff Daniels is having a fun time on this day with Lauren Holly, and of course he gets the scene where he licks the pole and his tongue gets stuck and it's frozen. And of course, then that's when later on when Jim Carrey puts the stuff in his drink, and then later Jeff Daniels has the freaking shits. Which, like I said before, I don't like that scene. It's the only scene, other than that flaming fart joke, though. But this one is more grotesque than that, though. That's the only thing I did not think was funny in the movie. I don't need to see especially the extended cut. I don't need to see Jeff Daniels shitting for 5 minutes. So. And then after that, Lauren Harley does go to see Jim Carrey, and then there's this guy who Lauren Harley knows, but I think he was like a friend of the family. I think he was, but he's the actual bad guy, and he wanted the briefcase. He wants a briefcase because the full money. It turns out because it was a ransom. Because it turns out that Lauren Holly, she's actually married, which Jim Carrey did not know, though, right? She was married. She was paying the ransom for her husband. That's why she left it at the airport to be dropped off for them, the bad guys to pick it up for. But Jim Carrey did not know that. He would think it was a misunderstanding. So then Jeff Daniels comes in. They're both been held at gunpoint by the guy. The guy shoots Jeff Daniels, but he had a bulletproof vest because the woman he was talking to earlier, at the gas station by the ski trip ride, trying to ask for her number, she was actually an undercover cop. Because before he was like, "Hey Harry, you never called," and he's like, "What are you doing here?" So she gave him the bulletproof vest and a gun too. But he couldn't shoot for shit though. So the guy gets arrested, including that one woman who was working with him. And then Mary Swanson, her husband, shows up, which Jim Carrey did not know, though, so after that, they returned everything, because they said they paid an IOU, so they returned everything, and so then there's this bus full of hot chicks come in, asking, hey, we're looking for 2 lucky guys to give us a massage, do you know anybody? And you're like, oh, you're looking for it, the town is this way, and Jim Carrey's like, what are you doing? You're like, the town is back that way. And it's like, well, there he goes. I'm sure some people will look forward to that, And then it ends him with just walking home. You're it. So yeah, I loved Dumb and Dumber, except for that one scene with Jeff Daniels shitting on the toilet, or the one lighting fart joke. Other than that, though, I still enjoy the movie a lot. It's still a classic. It's still one of Jim Carrey's best movies. Also, one of Jeff Daniels' best films too, like along with Speed, Arachnophobia. They both work so well together. They were great together. Which that's not what I got from the sequel. Which I still hate that movie. Fuck that movie. They said they made the characters more mean spirited. I don't know what the hell the Farrelly brothers were thinking of. Trying to throw in more raunchy, gross jokes. They try to do like a similar like a love triangle, but it's not though. Like here, the love triangle between them and Lauren Holly, but except for them trying to make it a love triangle for as lovers. In the sequel, they're trying to take the same thing, but except who's the father, who's the better father, right? Because they assume one of them that kid is either one of theirs. So I don't know. They're just trying to do like kind of like the same type of way, but yeah. And like I said, it's just I can barely remember that movie. I just don't, for good reason. I don't know what the Farrelly Bros were thinking of. I don't. That film, I don't know what's worse. What they did. That film or the Three Stooges. To me, I think I picked the Three Stooges more because, as a lifelong Three Stooges fan, all my life, to me that was one of the biggest insults I've ever seen of a movie. That would be on my list of the biggest insulted movies. So yeah, but I just don't know what the hell happened to the Farrelly brothers. I just don't. Oh, but yeah, they made some redemption with Green Book. Big deal. Just because one of your films get Oscar nominations doesn't mean it doesn't make up for all the stuff you did before that. But regardless, though, like I said, I still love Dumb and Dumber. Though it's a great comedy. The Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, they still work the best together. The humor, for the most part, I did find funny, except for like I said, like those two little things I said before. And it's easily fast paced as well. It's under how long the movie was, I forget. Yeah, 106 minutes. Minus end credits, though, it's easily fast paced. And the film was a big hit. Like all Jim Carrey's films in '94 were big hits. The Mask, Ace Ventura. So it's just it was very fun. Even the trailer was kind of clever too. When they just like they define word, they using word definitions like for dumb, right, and stuff like that. There was some kind of clever as well. So, which you don't see that nowadays with trailers, because most trailers nowadays they just spoil the whole movie, give the whole movie away for like 99% of the time. But regardless, though, Dumb and Dumber is still a classic. I still enjoy it. It is in my top favorite Jim Carrey movies. And the thing is, though, which you know what, I'll get to that. I was gonna think of another thought though, but I'll get to that later on. Because the next review, which I'll get to, is the other Jim Carrey movie that also helped his career. I did The Mask, and now with this film, and now with the next one, Ace Ventura. That's going to be next, so. Because I figure why not, because I love Jim Carrey. Great comedic actor. I loved it for the most part, his films. The ones I enjoy, though. But Dumb and Dumber is still a classic comedy. Still is. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time on the next movie review. Later.